The podcast you're about to enjoy is part of the LOWTREE Studios podcast network. To enjoy great podcasts like this one, go now to the LOWTREEstudios.com. And remember, get to the podcast.
Wreck My Podcast!
It's your birthday, and we want you to have fun. So here's an episode on killer animatronics. This week on Wreck My Chuck E. Cheese.
Wreck My Podcast!
Welcome to Wreck My Podcast, where this week we're talking about the Five Nights at Willy's Wonderland. I'm here with my guest. He's the inspiration for the pinball dance scene. It's Kreger.
I don't know how to feel about that one.
He's had to pick a lock or two with a bobby pin. It's Joe.
Feels like my skull's on fire.
And my nickname is also the janitor. I'm your host, Jordan. I like Joe went just straight for Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
That's
well, I
great.
mean, you knew it wasn't from this movie because Nic Cage doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't. But also, so Madison brought up a
That's the
funny
only
point.
reason why I was interested in watching it.
Yeah, Madison brought up a funny point when we were watching it. She's like, "This is pretty much just Ghost Rider." Like, there's a scene where he stops in front of a tree, just like in Ghost Rider. He's like in the same car that the Ghost Rider from the comics is in, I think, and also he's just going around killing evil demon spirits. So I'm like, yeah, this is pretty much Ghost Rider 3. Like, I'm glad they finally made the third one to round out the trilogy of this of the Ghost Rider universe, the Ghostiverse. But let me talk real quick about what is in this movie. So we're gonna do Jordan Explains the Movie real quick. That way everyone kind of can see what's happening here.
Oh yes, it's time for Jordan to explain the movie quickly.
Something weird is going on at Willy's Wonderland, and by dumb luck, Nic Cage, as the janitor, is gonna have to check it out. Or was it actually by design? To pay for his car to be fixed, they want him to spend the night cleaning Willy's Wonderland, which is like a Chuck E. Cheese, but a little bit deadlier. The animatronics come to life and try to kill him, but Cage is able to take them out one by one. A group of kids go and try to save him, but they don't realize that he already knows he's bait. The animatronics are possessed by the spirits of serial killers, and the new owner sends in human sacrifices for them. The janitor is supposed to be one of these sacrifices, but he's not quite willing to give up that easy. The kids start getting killed off one by one, but the janitor keeps on his mission to kill all the animatronics. The janitor does take a break for an 80s dance montage, but then finally finishes his mission to the soundtrack of Freebird and saves the town from these evil creatures.
And a body on the floor, Willy's on the prowl. We can't hide from them much more. So take a breath and close your eyes. The shadows.
Okay, so I guess my first question is for Kreger, what did you think? Yeah,
So-
after you're eating.
You can see me chewing. Go to Joe, you jerk.
How am I supposed to go to Joe?
Oh yeah, dang, I forgot about that. Okay, so I went into this with very low expectations, as everyone should. So I didn't think it was horrific as parents, but
You didn't watch Parents.
But it had some kind of okay parts, but it's just very much, it's one of those things like, you can watch like the first 45 minutes and then skip to the end and you still have seen the movie.
Yeah, it's true. There's not too much to this movie. Honestly, I kind of enjoyed it though. I thought it was I thought it was in the same vein as something like Bubba Hotep, but way better than Bubba Hotep.
Way better than Bubba Hotep.
Yeah. So I thought so. Joe, I'm gonna tell you some interesting things about this movie Because are you actually going to watch it, or are you just like... eh?
I might watch it out of curiosity.
Okay, so essentially, it's
I don't
very
care if it's
similar.
spoiled.
Yeah, it's very similar to Five Nights at Freddy's. The reason that it's this Chuck E. Cheese type place that they're sending human sacrifices into, and the reason they're doing that is because it was originally owned by a bunch of serial killers who, when they got caught, they did this like satanic ritual where they killed themselves and then put their spirits into the animatronics, and
It's a
then
real Chucky situation.
yeah, exactly. It's like Chucky there, but then the thing was is they were just like, okay, cool, we're just gonna like break down the building. But anytime they hired a contractor, they would wind up mysteriously dead.
No,
And
they
then
hired one contractor, then he got killed, and like, we're not doing that again.
Yeah. Well, yeah, these people are kind of bumpkins. But then also, like, they would venture out of the Chuck E. Cheese area and be killing people. So they finally made a deal with them to be like, okay, if we feed you people, will you not stop killing our townsfolk, kind of thing. And that's like the premise of the movie. And then Nicolas Cage shows up, and he's just... They never explain why he's so good at killing them, which we'll get into later about some fan theories that are there, and like why he never talks and stuff like that. But essentially, he shows up and it's just like massacring them and taking them out one by one. There's like eight animatronics he takes out. So
Yeah.
it's a fun movie. But a good friend of the show, Robbie from the Brew interviews, he wrote me and he was like, the movie was whatever, but he goes, if you want a really good version of this movie, the Banana Splits movie is better. Have you guys heard of this one?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so the Banana Splits is this TV show from the 70s where it was kind of like the Wiggles before the Wiggles. It was this group of 4 people who dressed up in costumes, like an elephant costume and a monkey costume and stuff, and they were a rock band. And so they would like go around and play shows and go to theme parks and see kids, and like they were just like this kid show fun thing. Well, I think it was 3 years ago. It was actually like 5 or 6 years ago when Five Nights at Freddy's came out. Someone wrote a script and they shopped it around, and they didn't like it for Five Nights at Freddy's, but they liked the premise. So what they did is they took the property of the Banana Splits and used the actual script for the Banana Splits. So the premise is the Banana Splits are back and they're doing a TV show, and they're animatronics where kids can come in the studio audience and watch the TV show. Well, at the one show that our main character goes to, the animatronics overhear that they say, oh, this is the last show, we're canceling the show afterwards, and they're like computer glitches, and they become homicidal, and they kill everyone in the thing. That's essentially the Banana Splits movie. It's a lot
similar.
Willy's Wonderland was not as violent as I thought it was going to be, to be honest, which I found out it was originally written as a PG-13 movie, and then they upped it to R last second, so... Which makes sense why it wasn't super gory. Like, there were some gory scenes, but nothing like super...
Didn't show a lot.
No, it wasn't really graphic or anything, but Banana Splits, that's very over the top. Like, the kills are insane. So, yeah, like there's one part where they like spin a wheel and it lands on the Banana Splits, and so they give a guy the Banana Splits. Like, they pretty much like rip him in half, like his limbs off and stuff like that. Like, it's a gnarly movie and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But I agree. I've never actually watched the whole thing. Have seen clips from when it came out, because it was like a big deal when it came out and everything on like the cult movie, like indie movie scene and stuff like that. So I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but I would say I would agree with Robbie that I think they executed the idea a little bit better in that movie than this one. But this one's still fun, in my opinion. I still thought it was fun. So Joe, I would say go watch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, Nic Cage being Nic Cage is always like just being a crazy Nic Cage.
Talk.
Not full Nic Cage, because he doesn't talk.
But he does so perfect with it. He still has like the facial expressions, and he does like weird movements and stuff. Like, you really feel Nic Cage in this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, perfect. Does he do crazy eyes?
Yes. Crazy eyes all the time. I love it. Yeah. He has this weird like sexual infatuation with a pinball machine. It's awesome.
Did he go like this?
No Elvis hand in this one. I don't think there was any Elvis hand in this one. No.
No. But like the problem with this movie is like the plot holes were huge.
Oh yeah, definitely. The plot
So
holes were
big.
huge. But it was interesting because you never really do find out the backstory of his character, and it was interesting that the director and writer did say, he's like, well, I didn't want you to know his backstory because I wanted you. And Nic Cage actually says he talked with the writer, and the writer told him the backstory.
What the backstory?
But Nicolas Cage is like, I'll never tell.
Yeah.
I'll never tell.
Yeah. So I kind of like when there's all this like secrecy and you kind of make your own thoughts about it and everything, which is kind of fun. So I was trying to figure out at the beginning. There's this beverage he drinks called Punch, and it's
Just
essentially
Punch?
it's called
It's a
Punch.
soda.
It's a soda, but it's an energy drink because it says packs a fistful of caffeine in every can or something like that. I thought it was like a beer at first. And I was like, oh, it's like an energy drink. But he has this like weird obsession with drinking this. So I was kind of like, what is the deal with this?
And I don't like how they didn't like. I get they're like, oh yeah, don't forget to take breaks. But like, the way he took his breaks while stuff was going on, I was like, oh, I can't kill these people on my break. I'm gonna play the pinball machine and drink a soda. Like,
Yeah.
it just like that kind of thing needed a little bit of telling us. Like, I didn't really like how he just kind of had to like, oh, we don't know why he's doing it this way. We just have to live with it. Okay.
Better than a martini glass filled with jelly beans.
Is that in Ghost Rider 2?
Oh yeah. Remember you had
Oh
a
my
martini
gosh.
glass filled with jelly beans?
Yeah, that's that's what Ronald Reagan would do on fancy occasions. So I think I made that joke last time too.
When he's wearing his tuxedo shirt.
Yeah, now that I think about it. I wanted to know what this cleaning solution he was using is, because that thing is
Fabuloso.
well, it's powerful. Like, there's literally like graffiti on there from like years ago, and he just like sprays it once and wipes it off like it's nothing. I'm like,
Yes.
give me
Just
that
Coca-Cola.
cleaning fluid. Yeah, I love that guy. I need that cleaning fluid in my life.
My biggest plot hole is like, you're telling me I either have to pay you $1,000 or I have to go spend the night in cleaning. No, I'm gonna call someone. I'm gonna get that $1,000.
How would he call
So-
someone? He can't speak.
I'm gonna figure out some other way to get them
Text
that
message?
$1,000.
Well, remember, Kreger, he wanted to go in there. He was hunting them down. He knew they were there because he wasn't surprised when the ostrich popped up behind him. He was like waiting for it. So he like
guess.
he wasn't being baited. He was like baiting them to get him to go in there to take them all out.
Okay, that makes more sense when you look
Yeah.
at it that way.
Joe, one thing you're going to hate about this movie that kind of was bugging me a little bit, there's a lot of fisheye camera work in it.
Oh no.
Yeah, they use the fisheye a lot.
Yeah, not a fan of the fisheye.
No, me neither.
That was
It
always
just-
my problem with GoPros.
Yeah,
They have their wide angle lens that sometimes can look fisheye.
Yeah, like the whole thing was like they did the fisheye and it was supposed to have this like claustrophobic feeling, I guess. But it looked kind of in my opinion. Curb stomped a gorilla into a urinal.
Yep.
That's a sentence
Urinal
I thought I'd
stomped?
never say. Yeah.
I mean, they did the classic trope of the black guy and the slutty girl died. So
R.I.P. Harambe.
Yes. Also, huge endorsement for duct tape. Like, he literally was using duct tape just to keep his body together. It was great.
also big
That's a man.
big faux pas earlier. Like when he's using the sink and cleaning something, he looks down with the duct tape on his cheek, and in the very next scene, there's no duct tape on his cheek.
Oh.
Because the duct tape scene hadn't happened yet.
Uh-oh.
Duct tape for your flesh wounds. WD-40 for your arthritis.
Yep, exactly. And Windex
got
for
arthritis.
pimples.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one thing I thought I cracked up about was like when the kids show up and they want to break Nicolas Cage out, their thought process is, we're going to sneak in through the air ducts. Rather than just taking bolt cutters to the padlock at the front door. Like, there's all that's keeping him in is a chain and a padlock. You get some bolt cutters, you cut the chain, door opens.
Maybe it's because
super easy.
maybe it's because they didn't want the animatronics to get out of the building. Because remember, the animatronics do go out of the building and stuff like that.
Go down to
So-
the local hardware store, buy another padlock and another chain.
It's a
break
bumpkin
it,
town.
Put a new one.
It's late. Everything's already closed.
Just so dumb.
Home Depot was closed.
So I always am curious in horror films because there's the trope, like Krager was saying, about like the two people go off and they have sex in like the happy fun room or whatever.
Yeah, it's usually the best part.
Well, when you know there's like demon man-eating animatronics,
That's-
how do you get it up? Like,
Well,
I would
no.
be too concerned for
Oh,
my
that
life.
can happen.
No, see the thing that really turned me off of this movie is when we first meet the black guy, he says, he seems like he knows a lot about these things. He's like, I saw something, and says something really bad about it, and then he is the one who is having sex with the slut girl in the room, and then one of the animatronics is in the corner staring at them. He's like, it's no big deal. It's like, dude, you were the one most animate earlier in the movie that these things are messed up and killing people. Like, what is? I was like, that was one of the
priorities, Krager.
It was one of the biggest plot holes I've ever seen. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, man.
Priorities.
When your girlfriend's chewing gum, putting a tiara on, and gets turned on, you do it no matter what, Krager. No, I agree. I thought that was so dumb. And it kind of it feeds into the whole cabin in the woods idea, because like the whole group of teenagers is definitely like the archetypal, like the jock, the smart one, the stoner one, like the slutty one. So it just feeds into that whole like thing. And I feel like a lot of these horror movies do it on purpose now.
Well, one thing I thought was kind of funny is like, besides Nicolas Cage, none of those other, well, except for the sheriff. Nicolas Cage and the sheriff have a lot of acting chops. But what's funny is the dark-haired guy who gets stabbed in the belly. Mm-hmm. He's like, I think he's like a Vine/YouTuber. Like, so he's not really. This was probably some of his first real acting chops.
He actually did fine.
So I'm pretty sure. I'm like, I think he's someone who got famous through Vine or like TikTok.
One thing I will say is normally the kid actors are like god awful. I felt like they were fine for an indie film, like for a crappy horror indie film. Like they were fine. They did okay. The one thing I loved about this movie was the music. I thought they did a great job with all like the creepy.
That Techno Willy's song was awesome.
Oh, the 80s Techno Willy song reminded me of that Bo Burnham song, and it was so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought that was like the greatest part in the whole movie. Also, in the script, do I have it here? Yeah. I don't have it here. So in the script, I'm like almost positive. I either read this or I like made this up in my brain as this has to be a real thing. That in the script, it literally says Nicolas Cage starts dancing around pinball machine and acts like Nicolas Cage. Like, it has to be hilarious. What it says in the script. Just like, Nicolas Cage improvs 80s dance scene with pinball machine.
So was this movie made for him? Like, with him in mind?
100%. It had to be.
I think so. I'm almost positive that, like, he was signed on from pretty early on in this movie. Cam did want me to say, since he's not on this episode, that his favorite scene is the 80s pinball dance scene, which I think we can all agree, anyone who's ever seen this movie, 100%. That is the greatest part of this movie.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, I love it so much.
You didn't say what his favorite scene of a Space Jam was?
I mean, he was the first one out of all of us to watch Space Jam, and I remember he was kind of live tweeting at us. He was like, this is awful. Oh, this is bad. Then halfway through he goes, okay, now it's just like animation porn. Oh, okay, now it's just crazy. I forgot to ask him.
He said there's something he thinks I'm really going to like, and I forgot to ask him what that is.
The Austin Powers thing, probably.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah, that Austin Powers shows up in it. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
But we'll have to find out. And then we won't post it here because, post-production and stuff. So, let's talk about the movie.
Baby.
It came out February 12th, 2021. Pretty sure it didn't have a theatrical release, especially since, theaters were still kind of closed down at that point. I think it came out on Hulu, maybe, originally.
Even when I saw the trailer, the trailer said releasing directly to streaming.
Okay.
It didn't mention anything about theaters.
Okay, yeah, so no theatrical release. Actually, no, I lied. It has to have had a theatrical release because I do have a very sad amount of money it made.
Well, how much did it cost to make?
Okay, so it was a $5.5 million budget.
Okay, let me guess. I'm going to say $250,000.
Okay. Do you have a guess, Joe?
Say $1 million.
Okay, $418,000 gross.
Wow.
Ooh, that's gross.
Yeah. But again, remember, this movie came out during when theaters weren't open, and they probably had a small theatrical release once theaters reopened, and just a select theaters in case someone wanted to see it.
I never even heard of it. Was there any marketing?
There was marketing.
I heard about it.
I had heard about it. I saw it on Nerdist and IGN when the trailer dropped and stuff like that. It wasn't they weren't putting ads on cable television or anything, but it had a marketing budget for sure. So do you guys want to guess on critic and audience scores for Rotten Tomato?
Yeah. Okay. I went first last time. I'll let Joe go first this time.
I'm going to say critic 11.
Okay.
And audience score 26.
Okay.
I'm gonna say critic 15 and audience 49.
Okay. Well, you guys are forgetting that critics are really lenient about movies that seem to have some type of artistic premise.
Oh my god.
61% critic score
Oh my god.
and a 71% audience score.
Wow,
What
way
the
higher than we were
hell?
thinking.
Yeah, a lot higher than you guys assumed.
Dear Lord, people. I am losing so much faith in
I agree with
Everyone.
the 71% audience score because I think this is a fun movie for people who enjoy the cult horror genre.
I didn't factor that in. That's
Okay.
a good point.
But the critic score I'm a little concerned with that it's that high.
Yeah.
That's a little weird. So this movie was directed by a guy named Kevin Lewis. He also directed a movie called Malibu Spring Break, which, judging from the poster and trailer I watched, I assume it's a fancy porn.
Oh my god.
That's like all this guy is known for.
That sounds like Skinamax to me.
Yeah, this guy.
Well,
the
with a name
director
like
is-
Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. This movie was written by a guy named G.O. Parsons. So go Parsons.
Go, Parsons, go.
He pretty much wrote this movie and that's it. He has no other credits. So
Probably should say that way.
Nicolas Cage plays a janitor. I don't need to
He's been
remind
in some
anyone
things.
who Nicolas Cage is. So the sheriff that you were talking about, Kreger, her name is Beth Grant. She was in Donnie Darko. She was in Speed. She was in No Country for Old Men. She definitely is in a lot of very popular movies. And then this one.
I've seen. What's funny is like I know I've seen her in a bunch of other stuff. None of those ones are the ones I was thinking of.
Oh, you don't remember her in Donnie Darko? She's the neighbor.
Never
who's like-
seen it.
Oh, you've never seen Donnie Darko?
Nope.
I don't think Krager would like it.
I don't think he would like it either, but
I want
I'm
to.
surprised he
I
hasn't
want to
seen it.
watch it. I haven't been avoiding it. It's just never. It's one of those things where I haven't sought it out and it just has never come across my path. I would like to watch it.
I'd
want
be
to
willing
watch
to
it. I
bet
just
you won't
haven't.
like it.
Yeah, it's like a movie that wants to be a really heady Chris Nolan film like Inception or Interstellar, but just doesn't quite make it.
Yeah.
All I have to ask is the main character ever in a bubble?
A bubble? No, he has a stream of like what looks like water come out of his chest at one point.
I was making a Bubble Boy reference.
Oh,
Same actor.
I get it.
Jake Gyllenhaal's the Bubble Boy?
Yeah.
Really?
You guys don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Jake
No.
Gyllenhaal is the main actor in Bubble Boy.
Oh, well, there you go.
Huh.
I had no
Haha,
idea.
stumped you.
Yeah,
The more
got
you
me,
know.
got me.
The more you know.
So yeah, Beth Grant, she's a pretty renowned actress actually. So she was in this movie. So there's a character named Tex McAdoo. My name's Tex McAdoo. His name is Rock Wrights. He was in Rock Wrights.
You can't write with rocks.
Nope. He was in the movie The Founder with what's his face, Michael Keaton, as well as have you guys heard of a movie called The Loft?
It sounds familiar,
No,
but I
sounds
may also
familiar,
just be
though.
thinking of lofts in general. I don't know.
No, it's like a movie where the premise is like I think it's like 4 or 5 dudes wake up in a loft and there's like a dead body in the middle and they're trying to figure out like who did it and what happened and stuff like that. Like it's an interesting premise. I've never actually seen it.
a
I've always
lofty
wanted
premise,
to watch
man.
it. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting premise. And then finally one of the kids named Bob. I forget which kid it was whose name was Bob, but his name is Terrell Hill. He's from Cobra Kai. He's one of the. Did you guys watch Cobra Kai?
Nope.
No. Okay, he's a character that shows up in a lot of episodes.
I just rewatched all the
Karate Kids.
those movies. Yeah.
You should really, if you just rewatched all the Karate Kids, you should really watch Cobra Kai because it like references those movies quite a bit, and not just the first one. It references all of them. It's insane.
nice.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
No, everybody was Cobra Kai-ing.
Were they
Yeah.
fast as lightning? Ha!
All right, so I got some fun facts for you guys on this movie.
What is facts? Baby, they're fun. They're fun. Oh yeah. What is facts? Baby, they're fun. They're fun. Oh yeah.
Okay, so Liv's line, there's a line, it's in the trailer. She says he's not trapped in there with them, they're trapped in here with him. It's a reference to Rorschach in Watchmen when he's in
that sounds about right.
Yeah, when he's in the jail and everything. He's like, no, they're trapped in here with me. That's my Rorschach. I don't even think that's how Rorschach sounds. Actually, is that
might have been one of your better impersonations?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Blood in the streets. A dog dead in an alleyway.
Just end on a high note.
Okay, sorry. So according to the director, the movie is Pale Rider versus Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've never seen Pale Rider, so I can't really say, but I get the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I feel like that should be your autobiography title.
Wow, thanks. I'm not that white, Kreger.
Ever since you moved to Texas.
Just a little bit.
You white, you Ben Affleck.
One of the producers' name is Grant Kramer. He is the actor who played Mike Tobacco in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So that's kind of a fun little connection to...
I really hope that in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Mike Tobacco didn't smoke.
Nope.
I like that song that's about him.
Mike Tobacco?
Mike Tobacco.
Oh my gosh.
Dude.
So at the beginning of the movie, we see that Nicolas Cage has some dog tags hanging on the rear view mirror of his car. And you can see that the blood type says it's supposed to be A positive, but it's spelled A space POS because he's a piece of shit.
That's funny.
And then finally, my last fun fact is the janitor was written ambiguous so the audience could have fun with theories of his background, which I have some theories. Reddit was wild with theories about this guy's background, and I actually really like some of them. So the dog tags obviously show he's ex-military, and a lot of people were like, oh, he's just like, a Marine guy or something like that, and that's why he's so strong and stuff. But that's not fascinating enough for me to be an actual fan theory. I wanted to get in some different ones. So it's possible the janitor worked at Willy's before, maybe even a serial killer himself, and then he reversed his ways, which is why he knows all the animatronics are going to attack him and why he knows the building so well. Because he kind of knows where to go in the building. Like, it doesn't seem like he's really, like, he knows exactly where to go to find stuff. He knows where, like, things are located. So I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thought that, like, he was one of the serial killers from the original group, and when Willy was like, hey, we're going to kill ourselves and do it, he was like, yeah, that's a little too far for me, bro. But now he's going back.
I'm just going to join the military.
Yeah, I'm going to go join the military. He, like, got...
You're not that guy.
Yeah, he, like, became normal, if you will, and then is going back to take out all, like, his old serial killer friends. I was like, that's kind of a cool premise.
Yeah.
There's a theory, which this is my favorite theory about it. There's a theory that the janitor is actually a robot trapped in a human body. So when the human spirits went into the animatronics, the spirit of the animatronics went out into bodies.
I don't hate that.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
That is so just crazy. I love that. Here's one you guys may really like. This is a modern take on The Witcher. That he's actually like the Witcher going around and killing demon spirits and stuff like that, evil spirits and whatnot. So it's like, that's kind of cool. Yeah,
that's fine.
And then some think he's the little boy in the flashback. So there's a flashback of Willy like biting the shoulder of a little boy, and some think that he's that boy who ended up living, and now as an adult he's like, and which is why he can't speak. It's because like he got like in the neck and the shoulder, so like his vocal cords got jacked up and stuff like that.
Yeah, because your vocal cords are in your shoulder.
But like he got bit like right here, so it's like close to the neck. I could see that like getting messed up or whatever. I could see it.
Oh no,
I could see
Bit
it.
of a stretch, but okay.
And then the final theory that I thought was like a pretty good theory is that when the serial killers all killed themselves, they like made a deal with the devil, right? To like be like, all right, we're going to kill ourselves. We're going to be put into these animatronics. Well, the theory is that that Nicolas Cage is a demon who's coming to collect the souls for the devil. Like he's like death. He's like, oh, you killed yourself, but you're still living here. I'm coming to collect your souls, kind of thing.
Death always comes.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool that like.
So does Joe.
Yeah, so I thought that was good. So Krager, kind of to answer your question a little bit, you were confused about why he was so like staunch about taking breaks when he did. The motif through this movie is deals. The serial killers made a deal with made a sacrifice pact to like live forever in the animatronics. The townsfolk made a deal with Willy so that they could like not have them kill their people anymore, and then he made a deal with Tex McAdoo. So it's all about like people making deals and holding up their end of the bargain, pretty much. So when Tex McAdoo was like, make sure you take a break, that was like, and this is part of the theory about why they thought he was like Death, that because when Death is like agrees to something, he has to do it. So he was like, okay, Tex McAdoo is telling me I have to take breaks, so now every hour when my watch goes off, I have to take a break.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. It was something I read.
That's fine.
It was something I read. It was like, yeah, you know.
Manifesto.
I think overall this movie is definitely like interesting.
It
Okay.
is fine.
Was it better than Space Jam?
I liked it better than Space Jam, honestly.
I don't know. Normally I'd say yes because it's a half an hour shorter, and like it's kind of like I can kind of get behind it a little bit. But for me, I almost have to say no, just because you can watch the first half an hour or so of it and then just skip to the ending and you didn't miss anything.
I would argue you could do that about Space Jam 2 as well. You pretty much just have to watch the setup.
I'd say that's a great point. I mean, I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to rewatch either of these movies.
Me neither. So I saw a video that was like 5 movies based off of killer animatronics, and Willy's Wonderland was one of them on there. But I want to see if you guys have seen any of the other ones. The most recent one was the new Child's Play, because it is like, I guess he's an AI.
Yeah.
I mean, is Five Nights at Freddy's one of them?
Well, that's not a movie yet. It's being worked on by Chris Columbus right now.
Okay, because I think there's a VR game that is Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah. These were just movies they were talking about. So the new Child's Play was one of them.
I saw that.
The Banana Splits movie that I was talking about was one of them. The other one was called The Hug. It's a 5-minute short film on Hulu. Have you guys heard of that one?
No.
Nope.
Okay, it looks creepy, and I would suggest to go watch it.
It's only 5 minutes, so.
Yeah, it's only 5 minutes. Not,
Yeah.
not gonna. And then I can't remember what the 5th one was. Dang it, that's gonna drive me nuts now. What was the 5th one? Something about an animatronic.
Cool.
Yeah,
Don't know.
there you go. So that was anticlimactic. But yeah, so I would recommend watching it definitely. But that we watched that movie. It was fun. It was a good one. It was there. It was a thing, and now we did an episode on it. That's what we do. That's the premise
was a
of
thing.
That's a
There's
thing.
a thing, and we did the thing.
And we did the thing. Hey, if you like this thing and you want to see more things, especially our things, go check out wreckmypodcast.com. We have a Redbubble store where you can buy merchandise. You also link to our Instagram there, as well as our YouTube channel, as well as Patreon, where you can sign up to become a patron for as little as $1 a month. That gives you access to exclusive content that only you get, as well as a raffle every month, as well as the typical rewards you get depending on what tier you sign up for. So lots of fun stuff over there. And then if you don't want to spend any money, you can still help us out greatly by giving us a rating or a review. If you give us a review and send me a picture of it, I will give you a sticker. That's all my plugs.
Ta-da.
That's
And
it.
we'll shout you out, and we'll read your review. How about that?
Yeah, we always read reviews whenever someone sends them. I love reading reviews. I love getting new reviews. We haven't got one in a
Yeah.
while. I want a new one. Give me a new one. Give it to me. I want it. Give it to me. Okay,
Give it
guys.
to me, baby.
That's the show. We'll our arms, shoulders, knees, and toes. All right. See you guys later.
I like another of you all.
I was being Nic Cage right there.
Oh, that's good.
Hey kids, you know what time it is? It's birthday time. It's your birthday, and we want you to have fun. It's your birthday, so let's party everyone. It's your birthday, and we want you to have fun. It's your birthday, so let's party everyone. Okay now kids, clap your hands like there's no tomorrow.
Something to piss you off.
Uh-oh. Oh, of course you did. Garbage. Should have gotten Oreos.
I had the choice. They were sitting next to each other, and I went Chips Ahoy. In my defense, I really wanted Chewy, but they didn't have Chewy.
Just like... Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yeah.
We saw.
Bump, 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 bump.
Wreck my podcast.